Hey guys, welcome to the studio. I've got a little bit different background here going on today because Zoom ran an update and they decided that I can no longer share my screen with my PowerPoint the way I normally do. So we're gonna try something. I read all the help files. According to everything I read, it's not gonna work. But I mean, it's 9:30 on Monday, and I mean, I didn't plan for this, so I didn't do any research on alternative platforms. So I will do that this week, and we may be coming at you live via YouTube, not via Zoom, via something else. So I'll look into that. And in the meantime, we're going to try to share the slideshow. It's not dire, of course. I mean, this is not the end of the world and it's not going to ruin my day and it is just fine. But I don't know what it's going to look like. Maybe it'll be me in a blank screen. Maybe it'll be me in a PowerPoint. Maybe it'll just be the PowerPoint. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm going to put it up on the screen anyway. There's a couple different options. It supposedly says that I can share my screen and it looks like this. But then it also said that it wouldn't work on a live stream. So I don't know, guys. I don't know. And there's no way for me to toggle into the live and find out if it's working. So who knows what you're seeing? I don't know if you're seeing me. I don't know if you're seeing my PowerPoint, but we're going to talk about what the kids are learning in class this week. Sound good? All right, here we go. The weekly video update. So a couple intro notes. It is the second week of March. So everybody has class this week. There's nothing funny going on the schedule. There's nothing that anybody needs to know. Now, as we get into like later in the month, we've got spring break for most of our kids coming up that week of the 24th through the 28th. A lot of our kids are on spring break that week. We still have classes if you are in drawing or multimedia. If you're in creative explorations or preschool classes, we do take that week off because we have the ability to do that. But with our 4-time-a-month classes, those drawing and multimedia classes, they will still have class throughout spring break week. We do plan our curriculum so that if you miss that week, you probably won't need a makeup because that's just smart business for us. So you've got if you ever need to see your class schedule, just a reminder, you can go to your Sawyer account and instructions for that are on the For Current Students website on the footer of the webpage, is where you can find that. All right, so let's go through our K-3 multimedia classes. I'm doing this like maybe you can see it. I have no idea. Maybe not. So imagine if you can't see it, there's a PowerPoint that says K-3 multimedia classes. It's just a title screen. But we'll go through those. Oh wait, I missed the preschool class. Let's go back to preschool. Did I miss that one? Hang on. I don't know how to go back. Well, this day is a solid 10. All right. Well, we'll just talk about it with the wrong screen because you probably can't see it anyway. So in March for our preschool classes, we are exploring worlds outside of our own. We're looking at the art of Salvador Dali and the art of Jean Miro, and we're looking at surrealism. Last week we read Rainbow Fish, so we dove under the water and we looked at that world. We did some printmaking and some mixed media art. The kids loved the brayers. They loved the printing foam. We did some bubble prints. This week, we're going to read The Lorax, which is a different type of world, of course, by Dr. Seuss. And then we are going to make some mixed media art about truffula trees, which is a great subject because it's so approachable for the kids to draw. Okay, I'm seeing what's happening here. I'm going to stop this slideshow. That's not working. So it must be on a timer or something because it's flipping the slides for me, which is not what I need. So I'm just going to talk to you guys. And that's boring, but it's what it is. Maybe when we get to housekeeping, I'll try to get the slides up. So for my K-3 multimedia classes, we're doing that mixed media project. They're doing birds. So these great big cardboard birds, all the different pieces. Last week we used acrylic paint. We got our first layers down. This week we're going to add texture and pattern and details to that. Now we'll try not to get out the acrylics, but ultimately if that's what they need in order to get their vision the way they need it to, we will get out acrylics again. But otherwise, we'll use paint pens like Posca markers. We'll use chalk pastels. We use oil pastels. We use Sharpies. So a lot of really drawing instruments that will layer patterns onto the second layer of the birds. We'll also start to put those together. And the kids have two options for attaching like head, wings, beak, feet, body, whatever pieces they've got. They can use hot glue, which is great. or they can use brads. And so that if they wanted a piece to be movable, we can secure it with a brad. For my, looking at my notes, my 4th and 5th graders, they're also doing a mixed media project. Remember, mixed media just means that it's using more than one thing, kind of compiled into one piece of artwork that makes sense. So for their artwork, they're doing collage. Last week, we made a bunch of painted papers, kind of in the spirit of Eric Carle or Henry Matisse. And we made these beautiful neon painted papers using texture tools and kind of odd painting tools. And then this week, we've got all of those, and we're going to start cutting them up and collaging them into a jungle. So we're going to brainstorm what goes in a jungle, what we could see in a jungle. We're also going to talk a lot about composition. So your background, your midground, your foreground, right? So like all those layers as we like dig deep into the heart of a jungle, okay? The cool thing about the paints that we used last week when we did the painted papers is a lot of them are UV reactive, meaning it glows under black light. So they're working on black paper with UV reactive papers, and a lot of our teachers will get out black light so they can see how their art actually glows in the dark. For my middle school, high schoolers, so 6th, 7th, 8th, 12th multimedia kids, they are making these big graffiti tag arts. And so they painted their background last week. So it's 2 layers. The first layer uses acrylic paint and a stamping technique to create a faux brick. They had to scrape all their acrylic paint on it, and then they had to use this kind of brick size sponge and create a brick pattern. So that's their background. And then their foreground is this like tag art. So it looks like something that's been spray painted. It's done on a separate sheet of paper, and that's what they're going to start this week. So they have to come up with, what are they tagging with? Are they tagging with their name? Are they tagging with kind of a mantra or a keyword? So anything they want to, and then they'll write it in their stylized writing. So any type of block letter, bubble letter, stylized lettering. They'll do that in pencil this week, and then we're going to try to get it Sharpied this week, and then we're going to try to get it sprayed this week. And that's a lot of steps. I mean, if you're really good at lettering and you already kind of know like what your style for lettering is, and you've done a lot of bubble letters or whatever, then this will come really easy. But for a lot of our kids, this isn't something they do. You're also dealing with a really big scale. And so we've got to get the word the way we want it, right? Spaced appropriately and the right scale. So we anticipate a good amount of our class time this week is going to be pencil drawing, just pencil drawing, pencil drawing, pencil drawing until we get it the way we want it. And then they'll Sharpie it. They'll add drop shadows. They'll add kind of thickness of lines on some sides versus other sides. They might outline it. And they'll get all of that done in black Sharpie. And then the final step will be, we're not using actual spray paint. We're using spray bottles with liquid washable watercolors in them. So they'll hang it up and vertical surface it and spray, spray, spray. And hopefully we get all the way through those steps, because our goal the 3rd week is that we can cut them out. A lot easier to cut them out if the paint is dry. If we have to spray next week, it's okay. The watercolors dry fairly quickly, and you know, worst come to worst, we can hit it with a hairdryer. So it'll be okay. All right, I'm going to, move on. So creative explorations, it is the 2nd week of March for all of our classes. You guys are doing your mixed media, Henry Matisse kind of inspired stations. I know I talked to the teachers at Flatwoods and at Liberty. The most popular station, hands down, is the staplers and the paper chains. And so we love staplers. I actually brought more staples for the Flatwoods crew to pick up because they are out. So I bought them on Amazon Prime, and they arrived on Saturday. And so that way they've got staples for this coming week. So we've got the paper chain is the most popular. We've also got an area where they can paint with long sticks, kind of a throw to Henry Matisse and how he made art later in his life. We've got trying to think what else there is. Oh, the painted paper collage and like just scrape painting and making painted papers is always a fun process. And then as the next week those dry, then we can use them in collages. One of the things that we're encouraging our creative explorations kids to do this month is to make a showcase piece for the art show. Now, they don't have to do it in class, but it's nice if they use their class time for that, right? So that they don't have to do it at home. But if they use the materials that we have to create a showcase piece, we're even pretty flexible that if they were like, oh, I really wanted to make this chalk pastel drawing, like it's not that big of a deal for us to get the pastels out, right? Or especially a drawing medium. for if they had some sort of vision that they wanted to create for the art show. All right, so if your kids mention that, that's also an option for this month's Creative Stations. Like I said, just an option. It's not something they have to do. All right, for my drawing students, speaking of the art show, this is their showcase month. Totally different than what we normally do in class. There are not lessons every week like there always have been, right? This is our showcase. This is where we put all the things that we've learned and you get to show off, you know, how much you've grown in the past year. So we're excited for them. Last week, we spent the whole class talking about their options and just kind of like seeing how big and how wide they can go with it. We walked around the studio and we looked at examples of art and talked about what makes a finished piece. One of the challenges for drawing is that it has to stand up to all the other mediums. And a lot of times drawing is just seen as a beginning step. And so there are things we can do as drawers to make our art look and have as much weight as a painting or a collage or a print. So we talked about that. We talked about composition choices. They brainstormed 20 some subject ideas. And then we took one subject idea and brainstormed composition ideas for that. Hopefully for all of them, I know in my classes, they all left with a really clear idea of what they're going to do for their art show in terms of at least the subject and the composition. Now they may not have decided their medium yet, but they have decided at least the subject. So this week when they come to class, we'll be doing those final drawings. So they'll get we did a lot of sketching in sketchbooks, but they'll get their final paper, which is, it's nothing precious. There is nothing precious about this piece of paper. It is simply a piece of mixed media paper. We've got reams of it in the studio, but we will go ahead and draw out the frame for them where the mat board will go so that they'll kind of know where the center is and they'll get started on sketching. Now, like if you mess up, we'll just get you a new one. Again, nothing precious about this final sheet of paper. And we'll try to emphasize that because that can create some anxiety. But they will start their sketches, and then the goal is that they've got it completely sketched where they want it, right? Compositionally, foreground, midground, background, everything thought about, so that the following week we can start adding in any sort of whether they're going to go coloring, right? So colored pencils, alcohol ink markers, chalk pastels, oil pastels, like if they're using one of the coloring mediums. Or if they're going to go like black and white, so you're gonna go charcoal, you're gonna go graphite, or you're gonna sumi ink, that kind of stuff. So, so we'll add that layer in. Some of them might get to it, especially in our 90-minute classes, they might get to it this week. But for especially our 101s, a lot of them will still just be pencil drawing this week. So that's the goal. All right, looking at my notes, that's my drawing classes. Let's go over housekeeping. Should we try to share the slideshow? Let's do it through Canva. Maybe it'll work if I share like a Canva screen. Because I create my slideshow on Canva and then I put it into PowerPoint because previously that's the only way I could share it on Zoom. But maybe I can share one single slide. Who knows? Let's try it. And then I can watch what this live looks like. And I'll know for next week. All right, we're going to share this screen. We'll share it behind me and see what happens. I don't think it's working, but whatever. Okay, so here's the maybe presentation. Present. So maybe you're seeing it. Maybe you're seeing a black screen behind me, which is what I'm seeing when I look at it. But I do want to go over housekeeping. So I have 4 notes for you. The first is about summer registration. The second 2 are about art show, and the fourth one is about junior staff. So the first summer registration opens for everybody on Saturday morning, this coming Saturday at 9 a.m. Now, it is not an automatic process. I have to wake up, which sometimes on Saturday mornings I'm not up by 9, but I will be this week. I have to wake up and I have to go in, I have to turn everything on so that it shows up on the website and is ready to go. Now, there is a whole bunch of work I have to do in the back end to change it from members only to everybody registering. And because of that, Studio Club early registration is going to end on Friday night at 5 p.m. because I'm going to take it all down and do all of the things I need to do Friday night So that way by Saturday morning, all I gotta do is push buttons. Okay. Because it takes about an hour for me to do all of that work, and I don't want to be doing it at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. So 5 p.m. Friday, for those of you who are Studio Club members, listen to me closely. If you haven't signed up for summer, you have until 5 p.m. on Friday. And then it's going to go down and you're going to have to wait until it opens for everybody else. Okay. I'll try to send a reminder email out to everybody who hasn't yet registered for summer, who can register. How about that? Hang on. I'll write a post-it. Hang on. Take my pencil and write a post-it. Email Studio Club. Okay. I'll send you an email. Okay. A separate one from the weekly. Then I got to talk about art show. So if you have a student who takes classes or has taken classes, this is for everybody. So if you took classes first semester and then you haven't taken classes in the spring semester because it's baseball season or basketball season or who knows what crazy stuff you got going on and life is crazy, you can still do the student art show. It's for everyone who's taken classes this year. And so the submission process for that is going to start on March 24th. Okay. There's 2 notes here on the bullets, but in case you're not seeing them, the first is a save the date, April 27th, 4 to 7 p.m. The second is the art show submissions. They're going to start March 24th. And that is early for us. Usually we wait until August or April 1st, but we're going to start it that 4th week of March. And that way our teachers can help with the submission process in classes. Okay. The deadline, I can't remember, but it's on the website. So it's sometime in mid-April, like the 10th or the 11th, but we're not going to wait that long. So it's irrelevant, right? All right. And then the last note on the housekeeping is the junior staff applications. So if you have a student at Orange Easel who has taken classes, there's a couple requirements. You have to have taken classes within the last year. You have to have at least 6 months of classes under your belt. You can sign up to be a member of the junior staff. There's an application and an interview process that you go through. It is like a first job experience. Our goal as a teaching studio is to give you a first job experience. We benefit from it as well because we get your amazing children to come help us with camps, and they are, oh my gosh, they're so invaluable to our summer programming. But you get something out of it too, and you get an amazing first job experience. You also get to do all of the summer projects with the kids. That is not your first priority. Your first priority is to help the kids with their projects, but you still get some creative exploration out of it. The junior staff do not pay to come to camp because they are working camps. They get a t-shirt. We do some staff training. So it's really fun. The information is on the website, so check that out. There is a deadline, and it is April 13th. Okay, so that's the deadline for applying. The registration opens March 15th, so it'll open Saturday too. So you can go ahead and get your application in, and then we'll do interviews and we'll get out job offers. And after you get the job offer email, in that email is your availability. So you submit to me what your availability is for summer, like when can you work, and then I write the schedule. So, all right, I think that's it. Those are all my notes. What a weird morning. All right, I'm gonna research like other ways that I can share slideshows because this was not it. But that'll just add that to my list for the week. It's fine. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. I hope you have a great week ahead. If you need anything from me, let me know. I'll be here all week long. I will see you soon.